I think we'll still take time. Still, we have 50% in the occupancy, and we need to be 100% to decide what's going to happen. And at the same time, it has to be a film with a wider reach. If you see my filmography, every film is the first attempt in that sphere, in that realm, with that concept. It should be relatable to people. There has to be some kind of value addition to the society. Anek is one of those films. It's a political thriller. And I look forward to that film because it's a genre breaker for me. And I've watched The Area, it's a beautiful film. He loved the film, and my performance also in particular, and it meant the world to me. It was very surreal because I've been a fan, and I've started my journey with Hrithik in a way because in 2011 I used to host a GDC show, and Hrithik was a judge, I was the anchor.
Oh.
So he has seen my journey. So it's beautiful.
Hi guys, this is Himesh and welcome to Pinkvilla. Today we have with us Ayushmann Khurrana. Welcome to Pinkvilla, Ayushmann. It's lovely having you here.
Thank you, Himesh.
And firstly, what a fantastic performance that you have delivered in Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations on that. Ayushmann, if I'm not wrong, this was the first film that you started after the pandemic, like in between the pandemic after the first lockdown. So what was the idea behind choosing Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui as the first film to start?
In fact, this is the first film which actually from start to finish got completed in a pandemic, first lockdown. And of course, I was also working on Dr. G and Anek simultaneously, but we thought of pushing it first because I had to undergo physical transformation. And this was the only time I could have done that. I was just sleeping for 8 to 10 hours, working out for 3 hours, learning CrossFit, cross-functional stuff. It was difficult, so I needed that time frame where I was not distracted by other things in life. So that time was apt. So because of the physical transformation, Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui happened.
And what was the first reaction when Abhishek Kapoor narrated the script and the subject to you?
I was completely blown. I didn't take a narration. I read the script.
Oh, okay.
And it connected with me somehow because I was always empathetic towards the community, and being an ally, I think I should do something which is a conversation starter for the community. It's a very thin line to tread though, but it is a very difficult, risky film. But I'm glad that we are talking about it right now.
And like you said, you underwent a transformation in terms of body type and everything. Could you tell us something about that journey? How long did it take for you to get that perfect toned body?
Almost 6 months, but 3 months of rigorous training. So Rakesh Udyar was my trainer, and also Shivoham, assisted by Drishi, and we worked together for like 3-4 months together, and I had to gain weight, muscle, and also be a CrossFit athlete. So it was a mix of everything. So it was very, very, very difficult.
And was there any reference point for your character, or what was your research like for this film per se?
More than the research, of course, there has to be empathy, and you get empathy by meeting people, discussing their problems, their journeys, and trigger happened back in the day in the 90s when I think my father introduced me to a trans couple, and after that I watched Satyameva Jayate, Amir Khan's Satyameva Jayate, where Ghazal Daliwal was there, who's a script writer, and watched her story and her journey. So yeah, even with my last film, Shumangal Zara Savdhan, there was a lot of interactions with the people from the community. So it all boils down to empathy, and if you can trigger empathy in the viewers and the audience's mind and heart also, I think you're home. And I think we successfully did that with Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui.
And from Vicky Donor till now, you have done so many films which have broken stereotypes. According to you, which was the most path-breaking and challenging one if you have to choose from the films that you have done, and why?
I think every film which has a certain sexual content, from Vicky Donor and Shumangal Savdhan, Shumangal Zara Savdhan, and now Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui is very, very difficult. It's very difficult to make it palatable for a wider audience. This particular film, of course, we faced certain challenges. We had to monitor the trailer, that we should not give out the details or the main subject of the film. So it was very difficult, and I'm glad that people are going to theatres and they realize what the main issue or the content or the subject of the film is, and they come back home after getting some value addition in life.
Actually, that was my next question. Like you said in the trailer, you didn't give away what the problem was all about. And if you look at your films earlier on, it was right from the trailer जब communication आ जाता था that Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan speaks of this thing or Vicky Donor is about a certain issue. What was the idea behind that, keeping the main plot under wraps?
So before pandemic, of course, Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan released, and trailer was banging. I think it was a hilarious trailer. But I remember talking to somebody from the B tier, 2 tier cities like Patna and Karnal, and they were like, हम picture देखने गए नहीं क्योंकि दो लड़कों की कहानी थी, लड़के किस कर रहे थे ट्रेलर के अंदर. So as a country, we come from that mindset. People don't want to watch something which is an aberration or something which is for them which is not normal. So it becomes very difficult for a commercial film to connect with that segment of society. So to get them in, give them an illusion of a hetero romance, and then introduce them or induct them to the subject of trans world and or in Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan, the gay world. So I guess it becomes very difficult to market this film, or from the inception, right from the inception to shooting the film and market the film, and then how people are going to react towards this subject. It is all very tricky, but again, somebody has to take the leap of faith.
There's one particular scene in the film which in my opinion is what the film is all about, where you interact with a trans person which leads to the metamorphosis of your character. The one on the signal. I think we can speak about it now that the film is out. Could you tell us something about that scene, and how did you approach that particular scene, and how did that scene come into picture in the first place in the script?
It was very important to get the perspective from their side and also showcase that despite of that trans person being educated, she's still on the streets begging. So of course unemployment is there, but there is no acceptance from the society. She was quoting Shakespeare, and nobody could have imagined a person who's on the signal, traffic signal, going for alms and quoting Shakespeare. So it is such a dichotomy of life. So I guess it was just a statement that you need to be more acceptable. And there was another scene in the film which is not there, which got edited, was that when in the coffee shop, when we enter, the manager doesn't allow that person inside. कि आप बाहर बैठ जाओ, आप अंदर नहीं आ सकते. So because of the length issue, I think it was Gattu's call to edit that scene, but that was also a very powerful scene. That she was not allowed to sit inside the cafeteria, so that's why we sat outside. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's actually quite, because that scene actually defines what the entire film is about actually. And one thing which stands apart in Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui is that it's not preachy at any point of time. Even in the scene that we were speaking about, one has not adopted a melodramatic approach. It's just that people tend to go dramatic in that sense that I'm educated but still meko kaam nahi hai. But over here it's just that subtle way mein dikha diya. She's speaking in English, quoting Shakespeare, but nowhere there's no direct mention of such. Was that a conscious effort to not make the film melodramatic and keep the tone as simple as possible?
Of course, there's a formula to certain socially relevant films that in the end the protagonist needs to deliver a message or a monologue. It happened in Bala, it happened in Dreamgirl. But this time around, Abhishek Kapoor had a different stance that we should not say anything because it's already there, and they are there for each other. Like both are supporting each other, and Manu's character also gets highlighted because of Manvi's support towards. But of course, Manvi is the central force in this film, and it's her journey also, and it's also Manu's emotional transformation, how he empathizes with the trans girl. Like because Manu is completely, he represents the masses, their mindset. He's regressive. He has no idea about trans world. He has no idea about anything. For him, it has to be like a cis het girl as a girlfriend. And when he discovers that it's a trans girl, so he flips. And anybody who's not aware, who's not inducted towards trans world will be reacting like that in our country, because our country still needs to grow a lot. It's a very complex situation there. So I guess in this particular situation, Manu's character was meant to be like this, because he shows the idiosyncrasies or the mentality of a common man in our country.
Talking about the pandemic, has your script sense in any way changed post the pandemic? Because there have been actors who, like, because of OTT coming up in such a big way, there has been a talk about actors bifurcating the two content from the word go कि ये OTT पे आएगा, ये theatrical. Has there been any change in your approach to scripts in that sense?
I think a good film is a good film, irrespective. If it connects with people, be it like content driven or a massy film, I think people will come and watch it. You just have to give them a good film.
Okay.
That's what I feel. That's my perspective completely.
Okay, and you are open for OTT as well. You had
guess
a
I am.
direct to digital release, but in terms of series and
I don't know about the series, but of course I was the first one to
Yeah.
go on OTT with Gulabo Satavo. But having said that, I think the big screen experience is something else. I think the feeling of community viewing is beautiful.
And how do you view the future of industry in terms of box office front? Because we are still in early times where every film is more like a case study of how it is faring. So how do you view, because there is this mid-budget film genre, which, how do you view the future of that in particular as far as the box office?
I think we'll still take time. Still, we have 50% in the occupancy, and we need to be 100% to decide what's going to happen. And at the same time, it has to be a film with a wider reach. Like families should go. Those kind of films will work better because community viewing means that you're watching with the entire family, people. So I think that must be the benchmark in future.
There must be hundreds of scripts which come your way on a daily or monthly basis. What are the factors that you look into while selecting a script? Because you have not gone wrong in terms of script selection in the longest time. So what is it that draws you to a particular film?
I think it should be one of the first attempts in Hindi cinema with the subject. If you see my filmography, every film is the first attempt in that sphere, in that realm, with that concept. It should be relatable to people. There has to be some kind of value addition to the society. And it has to be a wholesome film, not just dark or maybe preachy. It has to be a complete package of songs in the realm of commercial Hindi cinema. If you give a particular message, I think that lands you home.
And Hrithik recently tweeted about Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui and he praised your performance one. How did you react to that? Did you have a word with him after that?
Of course, I spoke to him for half an hour. He called me after watching the film. He was too overwhelmed to watch the film. He loved the film and my performance also in particular, and it meant the world to me. It was very surreal because I've been a fan. And I've started my journey with Hrithik in a way because in 2011 I used to host a GEC show and Hrithik was a judge, I was the anchor. So he has seen my journey. So it's beautiful.
You reunite with Anubhav Sinha on Anek, which is your next. Could you tell us something? How exciting is that reunion for you? I know you can't speak much about the film, so.
Yeah, Anubhav Sinha is a maverick filmmaker. He's restless and he wants to say something. He has got a great voice of his own and he wants to address something to the society in his own way. And Anek is one of those films. It's a political thriller. And I look forward to that film because it's a genre breaker for me. And I've watched The Area, it's a beautiful film.
And there are two more films which are announced. One is Dr. G and one is
Action Hero.
Yeah. Could you tell us something on those films?
Dr. G is a very youth-oriented young film. I play a doctor in the film, that too a student, and it shows a lot of student life also at the same time. It has a social commentary also at the same time. It's about a gynecologist, a male gynecologist. I can't speak much about the film as of now, but yeah, it's again a great collaboration with Anubhuti Kashyap. And apart from that, I have Action Hero, which I'll be shooting next in London with Anirudh. And both these filmmakers are first timers, Anubhuti and Anirudh. And I love collaborating with first time filmmakers.
Any last words on Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui?
I can only express gratitude. I think I can just say thank you to people who have acknowledged and shown love to the film, and people who have altered their mindset. And I'm glad that our team has been really successful doing that. And in future, I guess if you talk about a film on trans, then ideally the interview and the interviewee should be from that community, and that will be the true win, true victory for the community.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for all the things going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi, this is Ayushmann Khurrana. If you like this video, like, share and subscribe to Pink Villa.